As Quinn volunteered himself next, Momo couldn't help but think he was up to something. He knew the two of them were friends, so why would he volunteer? In a way, this whole demonstration was to show the first years that they were to obey the second year's command. Every year, it had become a sort of tradition at the academy. A similar thing had happened to them when they were first years. A display that there was a power far greater than them, and they were not to become cocky. To show them that there was something greater ahead, this would draw them to the fact that they needed more power. It would strive for them to work harder. It was never meant to get this far. At first, they had given Vorden a simple warning. Then, Vorden was the one who first started to attack the second years. At the time, Momo and the others decided to show them his place. They dealt with Vorden on his own, or so they thought. He continued to disobey their commands, and still came after weaker second-year students, one by one. That's when they decided to punish him publicly. This way it would solve all future troublemakers and show them what happened to them. Quinn started to look around at all the second years in the room. There were a total of 8 second-year students, standing by the edge of the hall, 4 on each side that had around 50 first-year students surrounded. There were also 2 students by Vorden, 1 on each side of the board. These students were the weakest of the bunch. Each of them had a power level 2 displayed on the watches. Even though they were second years, they all followed Momo, which meant they were weaker than him. There was the chance that they had already learned how to use a soul weapon, but it was unlikely. They had only just become second years, so there wasn't much chance for them to learn anything. However, the real problem was Momo and the people by his side. Momo stood there with the power level of 6, and the 2 beside him were level 4s. It was unlikely that any of the first years would help Quinn out, and even the strongest first year in the room was Erin, and even she was a level 5. It was no wonder, even though the first years outnumbered them, they were afraid. As Quinn held the ball in his hand, a message had appeared. Basic tier beast weapon, round ball. Would you like to activate? Strength of weapon will increase by 5%. The percentage stood out to him. It was the same number his gauntlets gave when using them. Perhaps Quinn didn't need to figure out how to activate the beast weapons, as Momo had said. It seemed like the system would do everything for him. Activate. The black ball started to glow. It glowed brighter than any of the balls the other students had held before. How is that possible? He was able to activate the basic tier weapon fully, Momo thought. That means its strength is increased by at least 5%. If he had a higher tier weapon, I wonder if he could the same. Wasn't he just a useless level 1? Quinn then walked in front of where Vorden was standing. There was now a good 5 meters of distance between the two. Why do we have these powers? Quinn said out loud. Isn't it to protect ourselves? To fight those who harm our friends and family? Vorden, hearing Quinn's words, started to lift his head. He had a feeling he knew what Quinn was planning to do. Quinn, no, don't, what are you doing? Vorden mumbled, but was unheard. I have taken a beating my whole life, and I was weak back then. What do I care if I take another beating now? Quinn then chucked the ball using all his strength as hard as he could. With the 16 points of strength and the added 5%, the ball came out lightning fast as it left his fingertips. Instead of the ball hitting Vorden, though, like everyone suspected, it landed straight in the student's stomach, standing by the side of the board. The power was so strong that the student was lifted off his feet and knocked out in one blow. 50 EXP gained, 175 of 400 EXP. What the hell are you guys doing standing there? Get him! Momo shouted. Quinn knew there wasn't much he could do against all the second-year students, so he wanted to create as much havoc as possible. The 2 level 4 students who stood by Momo's side started to come towards him, but instead of Quinn running toward them, he suddenly ran toward the crowd of first years behind him. He bent down and picked up 2 more of the black balls on the floor and started to head for the weaker students around the side, while weaving in between the first-year students. Then, when he was within distance, he had found his targets, the weak level 2s who were standing by the side. Once again he threw out another 2 black balls, aiming for them at full strength. One of the students managed to avoid the black ball, but the other wasn't so lucky, getting hit and knocked out. 50 EXP gained, 225 of 400 EXP. This was Quinn's plan. So far, every level up, Quinn was able to obtain an ability. He didn't know what he would get, but he sure hoped it would help him win the fight. There were enough second-year students for him to take on to cause a level up. He went then back into the crowd to pick up even more balls while making sure to use the other students as cover. "What are you guys doing? To anyone who manages to hit or capture that guy, they will be free from any form of punishment," Momo said. The first-year students started to look at each other. They didn't want to be involved in the first place and were unsure of what to do. "Why should we listen to you?" Layla said. "Just a second ago you dealt with one of us for asking a question. Who knows whether we can trust you or not?" "Fine, you don't want to help? Attack them all!" Just then, the 2 level 4 students who were chasing after Quinn no longer cared about injuring the first years. The 2 people started to gather up their abilities. One of them swung out their arm, and with it, a large line of water came out at them. But before it could even reach any of the students, an ice ball was shot out and froze the water attack in place, causing it to fall to the ground. The person responsible stepped forward and drew her sword out. "I wasn't going to get involved, but you guys attacked me first," Erin said. "Ha! Even if you're a level higher than us, do you really think you can take on 2 level 4s? Just then an arrow came shooting out, aiming for one of the students, but before it could reach him, an earth wall was raised. "She won't be alone," Layla said. To be honest, at first, Layla wasn't planning to get involved. If Quinn wanted to take a beating, there was no reason for her to get one with him. However, she too had experienced mistreatment in the school. Layla had no idea how strong Quinn really was, but felt like he must have had some sort of plan to fight back, and now it looked like the first-year students were going to get hurt anyway. With Layla and Erin distracting the other high levels in the room, Quinn felt like this was his chance to deal with the rest of the level 2s. However, it wasn't going to be as easy as he thought. Out from the side, a long, thin object came lashing out at him. It was too fast for Quinn to react, causing him to be hit across his body. Not only did the attack pierce his chest, but it also sent him tumbling to the ground. 13 of 20 HP. 7 points of HP with one attack. Just what was that? Quinn thought, looking at what had just hit him. Coming towards him was Momo. In his hand, he held a beast weapon whip by his side. "You have caused so much trouble," Momo said. "I don't know how you can activate the beast weapon so well, and your surprise attacks seem to work, but you will always be a weak level 1. Before Quinn could even get up, he was already surrounded by the other 6 second-year students. Vorden, watching the whole thing from the board, felt useless. "I have to help him. He's only getting hurt because of me. This is all my fault," Vorden said. "If you want to help him, then let me take over," a voice said in Vorden's head.
Subscribe to the Pocket FM Blockbuster YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notifications. Check out our channel for more exciting shows.